Hello everyone, my name is Dario and today I'm gonna be reacting to Mr. Sodding's video on how he died inside for trying to work with .NET in Linux. Just to put a background, I'm a software developer, I work in Linux and I work with .NET for several years now. So I kinda have a little bit of understanding on how this works. And for me watching this video of someone that I really enjoy watching was a little bit of like, a little bit of pain. So let's see what he says, let's see what he does, and I will try to debunk all of the things that he's saying one by one. I'm not gonna go through this on 3.5 hours, I promise it's gonna be less than 10 minutes. So without any further ado, let's go to the first part, which is when he tries to install .NET.
Right. So they were all running around. So because of this marketing, I assume that's... Are you even talking about that? Oh, what the fuck is that bullshit?
There you go.
Anyway, so calling them out on their bullshit. So let's actually go ahead and install .NET. So what do we have in here? So we have different packages. Oh, manual installation. Right. So let's actually go with the manual installation. So did it? Yeah. So.
Okay, so this is the first mistake that he's doing. He's installing this manually. I'm calling it a mistake because obviously there are ways of installing this in a more tidy up way that is basically going to don't make you waste time and it's going to ensure that everything runs smoothly, which is something that he fails throughout the whole video. He has problems to execute things, he has problems to configure things, and it's because he does things manually. This is extremely related on him being a hardcore Linux user. Usually, and this is like the old school, everything is done manually, everything is configurable, everything is just like, it's a pain, but it doesn't have to be like that. It's 2025. I run a machine that I installed a couple of years ago and I didn't touch it forever. I have an NVIDIA graphics driver, it works out of the box. My Linux is stable, I don't have problems when I upgrade it. So if you choose the right tool, you're not gonna have problems. Just be mindful about it and everything's gonna be fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to install .NET, and I would suggest that you install and you use Debian. If you haven't used before Linux, use Debian because it's stable. I have been using Debian for years. I started using Debian in 2004 when it was a pain. And I was a C++ developer back then, and I was doing development in the terminal. It was a pain, yeah. And I grew into that, and I love Linux. And that's why I was so happy to see Microsoft creating open source software, porting .NET to Linux, and I was really excited about it. I'm really excited still because I work on this. So I suggest that you install Debian if you want to start working with Linux and .NET. Install Debian because it's stable, because the ecosystem is amazing, and everything works out of the box. So you just go here, it gives you instructions on how to install. You just need to run this command on your terminal. Please always read what you're going to execute in your terminal. And then you just install it. That's it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that I don't have .NET installed. So the next thing is actually install .NET. And in order to do that, I'm going to do apt install .NET SDK 9, which is the last one. Yeah. Half of you downloading files, installing shit here and there. So next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the other side of the terminal, and if I run .NET now, it's there. Cool, it was simple. Just install one command and everything works. I'm going to list the SDKs that I have installed. This is extremely simple command, first command that you can run in .NET, and I have the last stable version. Cool. That's it. You just install .NET and things work. He spends here 5 minutes trying to configure things manually, and probably in these 5 minutes he has the only valid point that if someone from Microsoft is looking at this needs to listen to. It's valid and it's not that valid. So he downloads a compressed file and he examines the file, he scans what is inside, and he has a valid point. So let's look at that.
Of this star archive. This is not how you do that, though. Are you for real? Freaking Microsoft people. They literally didn't create a root folder for a tarball. I wouldn't...
So he's basically complaining that Microsoft packaged the .NET SDK inside a compressed file without putting everything first in a folder. And that is valid. In Linux, usually, you compress a folder. You don't compress all the contents of a folder inside the compressed file. And it's valid because what you usually want to do, and I am going to go to where I downloaded the file that he downloaded. Reacting to sorting. So here I have the same file that he downloaded, the .NET SDK compressed file. And if you uncompress this file, you will see that it basically is going to take a little bit of time, that now everything is here. So you don't want that basically. You want this to be tidy up. So Microsoft, if you're looking at this, I would suggest that you consider start packaging from .NET 10 things for Linux inside a root directory. I'm going to move the file to the above directory. I'm going to remove everything and then I'm going to move the file back .NET, and I'm going to move it here. Cool. Now, why I said before that this is not as valid? Because now tools in 2025, you can use a different set of tools to do a different set of things. And one of them is, for example, File Explorer. If you just use a File Explorer, like the one I'm using now, which is the one that I use on my daily basis, and I open the file, it extracts the file, and it will extract the file into a folder. I have to go to the .NET folder to see things there. So it's valid, but it's not that valid. So it depends on the tool that you use, you get this sorted automatically. But there is some sort of valid point there. Cool. So now we're past the installation. He's happy, he has it. And now what he wants to do is try to start running things. And this is where he encounters a little bit of a first problem, if we can say. Let's see what he does first. He tries to create a console app.
Okay, so .NET new command creates a .NET project based on a template. Okay, so template name, and also it has short names and stuff like that. So Blazor class lib console. So an example would be .NET new console. Okay. So you can also all install templates and stuff like that. .NET new console. Holla. Okay. Motherfucker. Fuck you, Microsoft.
Okay, so now he goes and complains again that when he runs this command, a directory containing the project is not created automatically for him, which is understandable because he is used to the tools and he's used to his workflows and he's used to the things that he do, and he doesn't even search the way of doing this. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so if I go here, yeah, I'm gonna remove everything because I already showed you how to unpack and don't have any problems. There you go. So now this is clean, okay? There is nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new console app, and I'm going to tell that it has to create it in my new console app. Okay, let's see. Oh, there is a folder there. So you just needed to do a little bit more research and you will know how to create a new project in a folder. So if I go here now, you have exactly the same that you had there, and you can just do what you did, which is run the application. Cool. Hello world. Perfect. And that is what he's doing here. He's fighting with this, he's complaining about something that he doesn't know how to do, He then complains about Microsoft using XML files. It's understandable. He doesn't like XML files. It's okay. No worries. Now, the next thing that he does is go and inspect what basically happens when you build a .NET file, which I'm going to show you now. Basically, it's going to create two folders, an object folder where there's intermediate DLLs, and then there's a bin folder. So if I go to the bin folder, you can see here that it has an executable file and a DLL file. If I run this, it says .NET War, but you can also run this like this. Two ways of running the application. But something that he realizes is that this new console app executable is not a native Linux executable. And that is okay, because .NET is meant to be used multi-platform. So out of the box is not going to create a native Linux executable. And he realizes that because he tries to run it and has problems, and that's okay. But I'm going to show you how you can actually create an executable in Linux that doesn't depend on .NET, okay? So I don't remember this exactly out on top of my head, so I'm gonna use my friend, AI. So how can I publish a .NET app native in Linux? Just to remember how to do it. Okay, so this is the command, okay? Let's just copy this. Oh, I need to go a little bit up. So now I'm on the root project. I'm gonna run the command. Cool. Now I see that this created the new executable, but it's not here. I'm gonna actually put it in a different folder. Output. Now there is an output folder, and there is a new console app. Cool. Now, how do I know that actually this can run without .NET? Well, let's see what we can do. Let's remove the .NET SDK, and let's remove also the .NET runtime. I'm gonna remove everything, okay? Now, I'm gonna run the console app and it's running. But do I have .NET? No. Why? Because if you can see here, it created a 71 megabytes file. And you are gonna complain about the size. It's not a problem, the size anymore. You can have a disk that is like 4 terabytes for $200. So that's not a problem. Just you can run native Linux applications, .NET applications in Linux. That's not a problem. Let's try to install again .NET because we're gonna need it. I'm gonna install the .NET SDK. That's gonna install the .NET runtime. Cool. Now, after this, while we continue starting again, he goes and tries to work. He tries to create a project and he tries to write a simple for each. He goes and run that. It's difficult to do some things here and there because he cannot iterate and do a for each symbol, obtaining the index and the actual object.
So
basically,
people tell me that this is not a modern, something like that. You're not supposed to write.
This is what's happening. He's working on Vim or Nano, no, Emacs. He's working on Emacs and he's trying to build a .NET application and see how it goes. It's understandable. I'm just going to recommend you something, Sodi. You probably want to use the right tool for the right job. Just install Rider, which is a beautiful IDE by JetBrains, which is free. It's not open source, but you don't have to pay for it. So it's free in the sense that you're going to have to pay for it, unless you use it commercially. But for you to make a video, you can just download it and use it. See, you just come here, You go and you create a new solution. You chose console, and you can just name it like console, and then you can just have this, and you can just run your app, and things is gonna work. Hello world, there you go. See, there you go. You can even just use your mouse and do funky stuff. Now he was complaining because he couldn't do a for each with arguments, and this is where the beautiful thing about using the right tool shines, no? I'm gonna create here a collection of strings. I need to, there you go, string args. No, I'm not gonna call args, I'm gonna go strings. And I'm going to put two strings, my name and your name, Soding. Okay, now what he wanted to do is basically write the actual string and write the index in the array. So how do you do that? Well, we use IntelliSense, we use the right tool. If I want to get the index in a collection, I am going to try to add the index method. That's it. Now, how do I write that? I'm going to do argument dot index. Cool. Argument dot item. Perfect. Looks good, no? Let's try to run it. There you go. Oh, it's not args, it's strings. Here you go. Cool. Dario and Soding. That's it. If you use the right tool, the productivity skyrockets. So I suggest that if you're gonna use a new technology, try to find what is the best tooling, what is the best way of using the technology, and don't stick to your process at the moment. You know, it's like just try to put the seat of a horse inside of a car and try to make it work. Obviously, it's gonna be really difficult to drive a car if you put the seat of a horse inside your car. Don't do it, please. It's gonna smell. Anyway, so the next thing that he does is he tries to install a tool to try to explore the assembly code, basically. He wants to spy the assembly code. So he goes here and tries to, so he's playing here with the FizzBuzz, plays with Link, plays with a lot of couple of things. But the important thing is here. He goes and tries to disassemble the code that he just created. Here he's trying to run an interop. Basically, he tries to call code from inside a C library inside of .NET, and he managed to do it. But the next thing is that he wants to see the assembly code of this. And he has like, how can I do it? How can I do it? And he ended up trying to install a tool. And he's gonna have problems basically. So I'm gonna
couldn't
forward
find the
it a bit.
manifest file. You got the package ID and it's
A little bit more.
global.
Yeah, he's still
Current use.
failing to install the tool because he's not reading documentation, and I'm going to show you
use that.
why he's
So
not
it's-
reading documentation.
Okay.
And it's this.
Okay.
Okay, so he installed the tool, and now he's going to try to install it. But let's see what the screen actually says. He installed the tool and said, you can now invoke the tool using .NET ILD-ASM.
So now I should be able to use that. So it's somewhere in here, I suppose. It is somewhere in here. I can probably do something like this. And in here, .NET ILDASM.
Yeah.
Okay. So architecture x64, blah, blah. Is that even an official thing? Is that even an official thing, or is it just a third-party thing? I'm not quite sure. So app launch failed or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm going to make it short. The problem here is that you're trying to use a tool that doesn't run with your current version of the framework. And that's why it fails. It's not because Microsoft doesn't work, not because .NET doesn't work. It's because you are not running things that are compatible. Plain as simple as that. So you install an SDK that is not compatible with the application that you're trying to run. If you actually search for this .NET ILDSM tool, you will see that it's not compatible with the SDK that you have. And that is the problem. I'm going to show you how it can simply be used, you know. Tool, I installed before a tool called C Sharpier. It's a tool that I use to format my files. What I'm going to do is I'm going to install this tool. Okay, so if I run now the command C Sharpier, you will see that it's not there. Now, if I install this tool and I read what it says, you can invoke the tool using the command C Sharpier. C Sharpier, there you go. See, it actually works. I can do C Sharpier -h, and it works. Because I'm using things that are compatible. I'm using tools that are correct, you know. So that's the problem. You just were using a tool that is not compatible with the framework.NET that you have installed. Okay, now he's going to try to disassembly and understand the assembly of a .NET program for like an hour. Just like going crazy, complaining and ranting and just cursing Microsoft and a lot of things. Now, I'm going to show you how to actually do it in a really simple way, okay? Just pay attention. You open this beautiful tool that I told you that is called Rider. You go here to the menu, you go to Tools, and you go to IL Viewer, and you have it. Here you can see the IL code of this. You can see low level C#. There you go. You can see high level C#. There you go. If I just do this, this is a really simple .NET. There you go. That's it. So just try to use the right tool for the job, and your life is gonna be easier. I know you're a hardcore Linux user, and I love it. I also love my console. I love my tools. I love all of these things. You know, like I use my terminal and my commands. But I also know that in order to be productive and successful in .NET, I have to use Rider. Don't use Beam. Use the best tool. If you want to be productive, install the right tool, man. I really love your content, but this was not one of them. Thank you for watching. If you like this, comment the video. If you want to know more about Linux and .NET, let me know in the comments.